Good evening, children. I hope everyone are doing fine. So, let us continue with the chapter 9, that is Heredity and Evolution. In our previous class, we studied about the basic concepts about heredity, inheritance, and also about the traits. And again, we also studied about different inherited traits. So, we basically know the concept about inheritance and heredity. Now let us see what is the rules for inheritance of traits. We know what is meant by traits. Traits are nothing but characters, isn't it? So what are the rules for this inheritance of traits? Is there any rules for it? Yes, of course. And what is the contribution of the scientist Mendel? Okay, so let us see and study about it in general. So, coming to rules of inheritance of traits, that is Mendel's contribution. So, here you can see he is a famous and very what do you say asset for the subject biology. Okay, so he is a person. So, full name is Gregor Johann Mendel. Okay, so so is he born on 1822, okay, to 1884. So he was born on 22nd July 1822 in Austria. So he was a person who gave major contribution in the subject bio. Okay, so Mendel was educated in a monastery and went to study science and mathematics at the University of Vienna. Okay, so he was very much interested in the subject mathematics than bio. That is the reason he implied the knowledge of mathematics in his discovery. Okay, so let us see what is that in detail. So if you study the concept, you will get to know about his interest on. Okay, so he was born on 22nd July 1822 in Austria and he was educated at the University of Vienna. Okay, in 1856 to 1857, he started his historical experiments of heredity on pea plant. That is pea plant, you know, batani, alva, Pisum sativum plant. So botanical name for this plant is Pisum sativum sativum. Sorry, so this is a botanical name for the plant pea. Pisum sativum. So this is the name you need to remember. You may get one mark question like what is the biological name? What is the botanical name for pea plant? Pisum sativum is the name. Okay. So since he was very much interested in mathematics, so he implied the knowledge of mathematics in his discovery. Okay. So even he used to fail in exams. Okay, but was never cling to that sadness because he has failed in the examination. So failure in the examination for a teaching certificate. So he was failed to take teaching certificate. Okay, but that doesn't suppress him at all. Okay, and he went back to his monastery and started growing peace. So he was a monk in the church. Okay, and there was a huge garden, the large garden behind or near the church, where he started growing vegetables, where he started growing pea plant. So in that group of vegetables he had also grown some pea plants. Okay, so many others had studied the inheritance of traits in pea plant and other organisms earlier. Before Mendel, there were few members who studied about pea plants and other organisms, but Mendel was the first person to give his knowledge of science and also mathematics to this discovery, and he was the first one to keep count on individuals exhibiting a particular trait in each generation. Okay, this helped him to arrive at the law of inheritance. So it was helped him to give a law of inheritance also, because any discovery in the matter, it requires proof and evidence. It requires data, proper evidence, proper data to submit. So then only this discovery can be considered. Okay, So after 16 years, what happens? Mendel's death in the 1900. So he died after 16 years. So what happened is discovery was not completed. So Mendel's postulate was rediscovered. So he couldn't complete the experiments, but his postulates was rediscovered, and it took 34 years again. So Mendel experiment remained hidden for 34 years. It was hid and it was not studied again. It was rediscovered. So after 34 years it was rediscovered, and Mendel worked on the rules of inheritance. So his main work was on the rules of inheritance. What was the rules uh, for this inheritance? Okay, and he opted garden pea for the experiment. So the major asset for this discovery was garden pea, that is Pisum sativum plant, that is pea plant. Okay, and here Pisum is a genus name and Sativum is a species name. So, coming to why Mendel opted only a pea plant for his experiment. Why couldn't he take some other plant? Because he had a lot of vegetables in his garden, he had a lot of plants in his garden. Why couldn't he take that plant? And why did he only prefer a pea plant? So, it is a very special plant for the experiment, especially for the inheritance, and you will get to know why Mendel has chosen only a pea plant, because availability of detectable contrasting traits of several characters. See, pea plant is a unique plant, so which has major contrasting traits. Andre, so different characters can be seen in a pea plant. Okay, so contrasting characters andre, for example, round seed irutte, ಸೀಡಲ್ಲೇ ರೌಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ವ್ರಿಂಕಲ್ಡ್ ಸೀಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫ್ಲವರಲ್ಲೇ ಒಂದು ಕಲರ್, ಟೂ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಲರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಟೈಪ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೀಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಟೈಪ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಒನ್ ಟೈಪ್. ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟ್ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಆ ಸೀಡಲ್ಲೇ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೆವರಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಕುಡ್ ಬಿ ನೋಟಿಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪೀ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್. Okay, and coming to lifespan of this plant is very short. Okay, so short lifespan. So lifespan, so birth and death rate, right? So that is the duration of birth and death. Fine. So the pea plant has a very less lifespan, short lifespan, and normally allows self fertilization. So it is self fertilization, but sometimes it undergoes cross fertilization. I mean, we can also do cross fertilization with plants. So majorly self fertilization can also be seen, and cross fertilization also can be done. Okay, and large number of seeds is produced. Just imagine, children, if it is giving lot of seeds, if it is giving more number of seeds, that means again we can regrow the plants with that seeds, right? And that is one of the advantage. And Mendel's experiment, Mendel conducted a series of experiments in which he crossed the pollinated plants to study one character at a time. So ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ನ ಅಟ್ ಎ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಅ ಪಾಲಿನೇಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಪಾಲಿನೇಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್ನೇ ಅವರು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು ಟು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಒನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ರೌಂಡ್ ಸೀಡ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಪಾಲಿನೇಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಅಟ್ ಎ ಟೈಮ್ ಥಿಂಕ್, ಸೊ ಹೌ ರ್ಯಾಪಿಡ್ಲಿ ದಿಸ್ ಪೀ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗ್ರೋ with short duration of time. Isn't it so much advantage to use pea plant for the experiment? Yes, of course. And one more important you will be studying in the next slide. So why pea plant and how many different characters in pea plant can be seen. So children, traits of pea plant selected for Mendel's experiment. See, he had taken 7 different traits for his experiment. That is the reason he preferred only a pea plant. Okay, so here you can see traits column, that is shape of the seed, color of the seed, color of the pod, shape of the pod, and plant height, position of the flower, and flower color. So this is the 7 traits, very 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 important part of your examination. Just star mark this topic. traits of pea plant which is selected for Mendel's experiment. And what are all the traits? How many traits? That is 7 traits. Shape of the seed. So under traits, you can say dominant trait and recessive trait. And I have explained you children what is dominant and what is recessive. Dominant character or dominant trait is nothing but this character is going to express in the next generation. Okay, so for example, widow speak, I give an example. Widow speak is a dominant character where it can be seen in next generation. Okay, recessive traits which cannot be expressed in the next generation. If the both the parents carry recessive trait, then it will be expressed. There is no option. If one parent has a dominant trait and another parent has a recessive trait, then obviously the dominant character, the dominant trait will gonna express. Okay, coming to traits. So first we shall see the shape of seed. So dominant trait will be round. So for example, one pea plant has a round seeds. So next pea plant which is arising from the same seed will have that same dominant trait, that is round seed. And recessive trait of this shape of the seeds is wrinkled. Okay, round irala, somewhat shapeless, it is wrinkled. Okay, next trait, dominant trait that we are studying is color of the seed. So two types of color we can see, one is yellow color and one is green color. ಬಟಾಣಿ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರ, ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಬಟಾಣಿನೂ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಕಲರ್ ಬಟಾಣಿನೂ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದೆರಡು ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಬಂದು ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರು, ರೆಸೆಸಿವ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಂದು ಗ್ರೀನ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್, ನೌ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೇಟ್. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೇಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಬಂದು color of the pod. Okay, so what is the dominant trait of color of pod? It is green. ಅಂದರೆ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಬಟಾಣಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ, ಅದು ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಬಂದು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಕಲರ್ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದರಲ್ಲಿ. ರೆಸೆಸಿವ್ ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಬಂದು ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಶೇಪ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪಾಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಯಾವ ಶೇಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಬಂದು ಫುಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಫುಲ್. ರೆಸೆಸಿವ್ ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಬಂದು ಫ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಪಾಟ್ಸಲ್ಲೇ ವ್ರಿಂಕಲ್ಡ್ ಸೀಡ್ಸ್ ಸಹ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರೇಟ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಹೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಹೈಟ್ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ದು? ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಬಂದು ತುಂಬ ಟಾಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ರೆಸೆಸಿವ್ ಬಂದು ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಶಾರ್ಟ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಮೀ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಶಾರ್ಟ್, isn't it? So that is, tall is a dominant character now. Recessive is a short character, that is recessive trait is a short one. Next is position of the flower. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಪ್ಲೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಬಂದು ಅಟ್ ಲೀಫ್ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್, ಲೀಫ್ ಮಧ್ಯ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಲೀಫ್ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ರೇಟು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೀಫ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಲೀಫ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ರೇಟ್. ಸೊ ವೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದ ರೆಸೆಸಿವ್ ಟ್ರೇಟ್? ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅಟ್ ದ ಟಿಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬ್ರಾಂಚಸ್. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ರೆಸೆಸಿವ್ ಟ್ರೇಟ್. Okay, so flower will be at the tip of the branches. Next is flower color. See, variety of colors can be seen. So two colors can be seen. Dominant color bandu purple. Recessive trait, color is a character here, that is why I am telling recessive color, recessive trait. So recessive trait bandu flower color alli white color irutte. So this is the major 7, like a rainbow colors you should remember. 7 characters are very much necessary and very much required for this experiment. And to study about the inheritance, he had preferably he has chosen pea plant. Okay, so children, this was the basic concept, and we should know about Mendel's contribution towards the experiments or towards the inheritance. Okay, so I hope everyone had understood. So practice that table, dominant traits and recessive traits of a pea plant, that is Pisum sativum. Okay, so have a good day. Thank you.